Alright, so we're going to take a shot at this. I've been playing with distances with the little tripod and stuff to make sure that you can see me and you can hear me and that kind of stuff. So we're just going to shoot a video and we'll see how all this works. The topic of this particular video is called gear lists. I guess you would follow or put it under training. You find us, my wife and a couple of friends on the island of Rock Island, off the northern tip of Door County. It's a trip we come on virtually every year. I think in the last 28 years we've missed a couple because of kids and family things, but other than that, it's been an annual trip. This particular one is different for us because this is the first year we haven't brought children along, so it's just us old farts. And honestly, it's kind of nice. It's a small island, a mile and a half in diameter, about 6 miles worth of trails. The other couple are off walking around the island, and my wife and I decided on a down day we're just going to put our feet up. Where this gets around to gear lists is how we go about getting here. If you look at the post that I made quite some time back about a boogie bag, and I think the title of the post was "For When It's Time to Leave," and it goes through what I carry primarily in a backpack on a backpack trip. Covered everything from different types of tents to sleeping bags to stoves, the whole 9 yards. And if you look for that post, you can find my gear list. I put it out there so you can download it. And that's my gear list. Doesn't have to be yours. That's my gear list, what I look for and the way I do it. Camping like this, though, is different. This would be a base camp. We usually come up here for about a week. Unfortunately, I have the baptism, my wife and I have the baptism of a new granddaughter. So the trip is cut short, and we'll be leaving here in a couple days to head back home. But when you come, the process is still the same when you put together a gear list. What kind of experience do you want to have on this particular trip? What's the purpose of it? And to fulfill that purpose, what kind of gear do you need to bring? It's frequent on this particular camp that we have a lot of rain. Because of that, at the end of this particular video, I'll tack on the video or the photographs I've taken of the campsite. We put up a pretty good sized tarp, 20 by 16. We put it over a couple picnic tables that they put on this backpack, or not backpack, this is a walk-in site, I guess you'd call it. They have 35 campsites on this island, a water spigot and a toilet. And then some other buildings from it. If you're interested in it, Google it up, and there's all sorts of information on it. It's Rock Island State Park in Wisconsin, off the tip of Door County. So I usually break up a gear list into different pieces. I have a fondness to start with your home. Home means a tent. For us, it's an 8-foot dome tent. Along with that comes ground cloths that you need, what type of tent you're going to bring, which of the dome tents are you going to bring, how much weight that is, and all of this stuff was carried in on a cart. We didn't have to backpack this spot in because it's fairly close to where the boat drops you off. So anyway, just make a list. What do you need to make your home? That includes the tent, the ground cloth, ropes and stakes that you need to tie everything down. You do need to tie your tents down. I know a lot of people just like to throw them up. Take an extra 30 seconds or an extra 5 minutes, stake them well, put the tie down ropes on the rain flies. The reason is, the one time you don't, you're going to wake up in the middle of the night, a storm's going to roll in, you're not going to be a happy camper, pardon the expression. You're going to get wet, your tent mate's going to get wet. It's just not good. What kind of mattresses are you going to bring? We have a fondness for Thermarest. Any other gear that is appropriate to the home. Then I usually step that out to the kitchen. What do we need to cook food? This is a pretty opulent trip here. We have brats, we have steak, we have pancakes, we bring eggs and bacon. It's much more of a meal than you would think for a lot of backpack trips where you're concerned with weight and you're using some sort of dehydrated meal and compressing everything. This is a spot where we can kind of splurge. Different types of cereals. We even bring a coffee press so that we can make a nice cup of coffee in the morning. So that's nice. And then of course all the other utensils that go along with the kitchen. How many plates do you need? Beef that up a little bit in case you have an unexpected guest that comes by. We will share food at the campsite if somebody walks by and we want to make conversation. Or if you break stuff, you always break stuff on camp trips. Stuff to clean your food with, not your food, your plates at the end. We bring dish pans, that kind of stuff. What kind of stove are you going to cook on? We've used everything here from MSR backpack stoves to open fire to what we currently have, which is a Coleman with propane tanks. That's just a nice quick way to do it. Yeah, I know they've got the white gas ones out there. Been there, done that, have all those t-shirts. Honestly, this is just easier and nicer. And then you work on general camp layout. When you get to a spot, for us it's where are we going to place the picnic tables that this is being filmed on. We have a spot at this particular island that we come to, and I'll post some other pictures of that as well, as an idea of a base camp. We put the tarp up, and like this morning we sat in under the tarp, had a nice downpour going around us. We could put feet up, have a nice meal, as well as read books, have good conversation, drink drinks. It's the tarp has been such a nice addition. But I take tarps on all the trips. I did a Boundary Waters trip a couple years ago with a crew. We landed on an island to set up for the afternoon and evening. Just barely got the tarp up, and it started to rain really heavy, and spent just a glorious afternoon in under, it's from Campmore, that particular one. They've got a 12 by 10 foot steel nylon tarp. Set that up, held it up with some canoe paddles, captured the water off the tarp for cooking and drinking, cooked our whole meal in under it on a backpack stove, and it was just a very nice, relaxing way. But we could do that because we had a gear list and we knew what we wanted to take. Gear lists also allow you then to measure weight. Now on this trip, to be real honest, we don't measure weight. Usually we have sons or brother or son-in-laws to lend a hand. This time we did not. We just flat out came and did it. It allows you to form your thoughts. How are you going to set up your camp? Where do you want the tents? How are you going to put things together? And then when you get on site and you look it over, always check for new widow makers. You know, dead branches and tall trees that may become disconnected in a strong wind and come down on top of your tent. Just pay attention to that kind of stuff. But again, before you do these things, take some time, put a gear list together. We do what military would call an after action report when we get done with this. My wife will make a list of things we should bring the next time, things that got broken, things that worked well, things that didn't work well, different types of meals we want to try, that kind of stuff. Because I won't remember that over a year period of time. When we come next June or July or August, whenever we do that next summer, I'm not going to remember a lot of that kind of thing. So it's nice to have something written to say this is where we went, how it worked, and these are changes we need to make. So I'm a big proponent of gear lists. Whether you're doing a weekender with the Scouts, a 2-week or a week-long trek into a canoe area or a backpack area, or whether you're doing a base camp experience like this with friends where the focus is on the friendships and the conversation, not on fighting with the elements. If you have a crappy run of days and it's pouring all the time and you have no tarps or you've made no plans and you end up just sitting in a tent, not fun, not our intent. So gear lists, it should be on everybody's mind and everybody's thoughts, whether again you're doing day tricks or base camps. Take some time, play, do some experiments, download some from other sites, But most important, take some time to get out and enjoy this kind of stuff. It's an amazing experience to get out with friends and just experience being in the outdoors and each other's companies. So until next time, this is Bill, Eastern Iowa Firearms, and all the other crap that I talk about on the website. Thanks for listening.